Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. I'm your host, Dean Gemmell, and unfortunately my site got hacked, so it took me much longer to get up Adam's interview and the interview I did with Michelle Englot because I don't have a crack IT team. But we're working through it, or I'm trying to work through it, and temporarily I'm going to post these interviews here on the Fit to Curl site. My apologies to Adam and Michelle for the length of time it took to get these up. But unfortunately, I'm not great at overcoming hackers. But this was Adam Casey. It was a good interview. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed talking to Adam. He's the PEI guy. He'll be representing Saskatchewan at the Brier this year. The Tim Hortons Brier starting this weekend. Also, some shameless self-promotion. Fit to Curl by John Morris with a bit of help from me. That's available on Amazon these days as a Kindle ebook. We have no printed versions of the book left. We sold all the copies that we printed, but you can buy it as an ebook right now on Amazon. It's pretty good. A little more interactivity, and some of the interviews that I did with Johnny Moe over the years from the Curling Show are also included in that. So there's a little bit of bonus footage. Bonus audio footage? No, it's not footage. Bonus audio, I guess. And interactivity. Brush Like a Badass, my ebook, that's also available on Amazon as a Kindle book. You can also find it on Kobo and in the iBooks bookstore, whatever Apple calls it these days. It's still there. Book a clinic with me at your club. Brush Like a Badass clinics seem to be well received. People seem to enjoy them. If you want to have me bring that to your club, shoot me an email, dgemmell, DGEMMELL, at thecurlingshow.com, TheCurlingshow.com. Yeah, and I'm doing more stand-up. I have a show March 25th, the Broadway Comedy Club. If you want to go to that, let me know. If you're in town, that'd be great. Love to have you at that. Or if you want to somehow bring me in to do some stand-up at one of your events, we could talk about that as well. So that's it for my shameless self-promotion. Let's get to my conversation with Adam Casey. He's played for Newfoundland 3 times at the Brier. He's played for PEI twice, and now he'll represent Saskatchewan in St. John's, Newfoundland at the 2017 Tim Hortons Brier. It's a new era, folks. Adam Casey, welcome to the Curling Show.
Thanks a lot, Dean.
Yeah, so there you go. You well, nobody could accuse you really of going to a province that is easier to win. That's for sure. No disrespect to PEI, but obviously Saskatchewan, especially with teams like Steve Laycock in the mix these days, certainly not an easy province to represent. How did you end up with Sean Meacham and this outfit? Sean was skipping it at the start of the year. We'll get to that in a minute. But how do you end up with these guys?
Yeah, so just like you said, I got a lot of crazy looks this year. You gave up, but people were calling it my free ticket to the Brier to go play at Saskatchewan, and I was actually surprised at the level of the teams out there. It was a tough tankard, but how I got out there at the end of last season, Anson wanted to take a step back. He got a new job, recently married. Robbie was thinking that he wanted to do the same thing, and Dave was moving back to Ontario to play with Glenn, so that really left me with not a whole lot of horses left in my stable, and I kind of still wanted to play. There was lots of offers to play around here, but not play a lot. Kind of just with a goal of getting to the Brier and playing 2 or 3, maybe upwards of 4 events. And my idea was if I wanted to play, I wanted to play full out. And the pre-trials are in my hometown next year, so I wanted to at least give that a shot at qualifying. And so I sat by my phone and wait, and Sean and Catlin were one of the few calls that I did receive, and I didn't know a whole lot about them. But they had a better curling season last year than I had, and I was like, well, they must be.
They can't suck.
They can't completely suck.
Right.
No, and they said all the right things. They wanted to to go hard this year, and they wanted to try to get to those pre-trials and put in the time and kind of try to build something. So I at that point I was like, sure, let's do it, and kind of just committed myself that way.
I saw you at the Briar last year and talked to you briefly there, but I mean, you know what it's like to actually. I mean, you didn't have a great Briar last year. You're pretty despondent about, I think, the season and the Briar in general. So people say, oh, it's a free pass to the Briar, but it's not much fun to go 2-9 at the Briar, is it?
No, I really it was. I would have rather been in the office. I think, not to say that it's not a cool thing to do, but going for the last 5 years and kind of always at least being close to the playoffs, if not in the playoffs, when I was playing with Brad. And then the first year we put the team together, we got through the pre-qualifier and we were about 500, so it kind of had a feeling. And then last year just felt like a step in the wrong direction. And then at the end of the week, it's just so frustrating. And I think just we let our frustrations get to us and played even worse than we were.
Right. I mean, the level of play is such now that the Briar is one event, and then there's obviously 2 tiers of teams at the Briar. And I don't know. I've been at events and been the empty spot in the bingo card, and then been at events and won. And it's not a lot of fun when you're getting beat up all week. So even though people say, oh, why don't you just take a team from PEI and go to the Briar every year, I don't think that would be a lot of fun for you, would it?
No, that was a big thing for me. Is I could probably go to PEI and get there. Not saying that there's nobody here that can beat me, but
no, I know.
I think if I put a team half decent together, we'd have a pretty good chance of getting out year after year. But yeah, that was as I wanted to play on a team that was gonna try to get there and do everything to compete. And I don't mind if you go to an event and you don't win the event in your first year, but as long as you're making progress. I just wasn't ready to kind of give up and just kind of repetitively go there with the expectation to be the free space on the bingo card. I feel like you go there and you play hard and you feel like you're getting better throughout the year and you're not good enough at that point. Well, at least then you got a baseline and you can kind of set yourself up for future years. But I wasn't ready to set my baseline at the bottom and stay there for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, it seemed like your team out of PEI, could see how you could improve, right? And that's always, to me, the bottom line for a curling team. If you can see how you can get better, you keep playing, and if you can't, and that's usually when teams are out of gas, right? Talk about this team. This team you joined this year, though. You didn't start out skipping. The start of the year, you were playing second. Sean Meacham had been the skip. He was skipping again. Things weren't going real well. When did you decide to make the switch? Who sort of brought it up? How did that all happen?
Yeah, it was funny at the end last year. I figured there was nobody I wasn't going to get a call from a top level team asking me to skip, and I'd only started skipping 2 years ago. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm very content to go back, play front end, play third, do whatever I can. So I got the call to play second. And I was like, yeah, this seems like a good fit. And then the first 2.5 events we played in were just a complete nightmare. I think it was just like a brand new team. We didn't know each other that well, and I think the personalities weren't perfectly, and results obviously make everything better. And Sean was struggling a bit personally, and there was kind of talk about me throwing the draw to the button, something to kind of take a little bit of pressure off. And I kind of just threw it out there. I was like, well, why don't we just throw last rock? We can try it out for this weekend, because we were down in C in Portage, and already you can see the dollars heading in the wrong way for the season. And we actually went on a really good run. So then I was kind of throwing last for a while, but then we kind of started to find our way back into a rut, and it was on the way to Eveleth there for the Kronosavi. And Sean was they were driving up, and Sean's like, I really think our team will be much better in Portage. Adam kind of took that position and kind of owned it, and he's like, I think that's what we need to do, is let him focus on the strategy and that kind of skipping element. And he's like, I'll take care of the front end stuff. And I think, and he was spot on. I think it really helped to kind of get those roles defined, because it was just a sort of a strange dynamic. And I think Captain's kind of got a good personality for a third, and we had him doing front end activities. And I think it's much better having him down at the other end and those types of things.
That's interesting, all that. First of all, I've never heard of clear thinking coming out of a trip to the Iron Range in Minnesota, but I guess that's what happened. whenever I've been there, I've just wanted to quit curling. That's all. But good people. But the weather in December makes me want to quit curling. But do you think more teams should? I mean, you guys sort of did it a bit fluidly, right? And I think there's a lot of teams that start out and don't get the positions quite right and are reluctant to change it. Do you think more teams should be willing to change it? You guys also had the money flowing the wrong way, as you mentioned, so there was some impetus to do it. But what do you think? A lot of teams get stuck in a rut of these are our positions and we're going to stick with them.
Yeah, I think there's a thing for job security. Like, I don't think you want to be out there playing and be with the pressure that
right. I need to be skipping. I need to be skipping this team. This is bullshit.
Yeah,
I need to skip.
If you're playing with the right mix of characters, I think there's been success with that. I think you look at like Cooey and Blake when they mixed up way back.
Yeah.
And then I think like more recently, I think when Pat and John switched, it was obviously. It obviously worked out well, and I like to take full credit for their Briar victory there. We actually beat them the game before they decided to switch. So they only lost to the free space there. That
and as you guys were shaking hands, you said to John and Pat, "You guys should totally flip this up, and you'd go on a real run."
No, I didn't give them any insight there, but I really think like if you have the personalities where there's no sort of egos and people can be comfortable in any role, there's no harm in doing a little tinkering till you find out the right fit. But I've also played on teams where it felt like somebody's gunning for a role, and I don't think.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
Want people breathing down you need to be comfortable with the ice.
Yeah, that's not healthy. I've never played for someone who was bad enough that I thought I could skip, so it's never been an issue, and I'm not good enough. Hey, just geographically, I can't think of two Canadian provinces much more different than Saskatchewan and Prince Edward Island. Well, when you go out there, do you feel like you've landed on the moon or something?
It's a little bit different for sure. Just the industries that they're in and the political landscape's different. But no, you know what? Like they've been really receptive. Even at provincials, I thought I was going to be public enemy number one, and there was going to be billboards out to get me this import trying to win the Saskatchewan tankard, but no, it
and it turned out people just didn't care. They just didn't care. So you have been received warmly by Saskatchewan people.
I have.
Yeah,
I can't say enough about it actually.
What's your home club out there? Highland? Is that your home club?
Yeah, the Highland. So I've had a few practices there, but most of the time I'm still in the Island.
Right.
Practicing away here.
So what have you generally done? You just, you're flying in, you meet the guys at the event, you play, right? I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think that took a while for us to kind of gel that way. Like we didn't get the chance to work through some kinks in practice, and it was all on the road. But we played, 12, 13 events this year. It's a lot of weekends in a hotel room and restaurants together, so you kind of get to know each other and figure it out that way.
Your travel expenses must be like 4 times as much as the other guys. You're trying to balance that out with these guys?
They drove. Well, that was my one thing when I joined. It's like I'm not. I don't want to pay like additional. Like I don't want my travel expenses.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys want me, like I'll do everything I can to bring sponsorship dollars, and I'll practice as hard as I can. But I was like, I don't want us to be like split and be like, well, that travel expenses were this type of thing, and they've been super good about it. I mean. The guys literally filed into a truck and drove to every single event except for Phoenix, and then obviously I don't have that luxury, so I'm flying in and out every weekend.
You go first class all the time?
Trip.
You go for first class?
I don't book first class tickets, but I started to, with the amount of flights I'm getting, I'm starting to get
you're getting upgrades now.
Upgrade credits.
You should come off the flight after they've driven in the truck for like 8 hours. Come off the flight and say, oh my God, the first class meal, unbelievable. Just perfect. I got the upgrade. How are you boys doing?
At travel time, I'm actually still usually a little bit longer, so at least
I
still have shorter trips.
Yeah, show up, talk about the meal, say you had a good nap. Say you had a good nap, you got a flight attendant's phone number. Yeah, how are you guys doing? Do all that. Hey, I see Pat Simmons is listed as your coach. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. So we finished provincials, and Dustin had actually dislocated his shoulder in provincials, like fell on the ice and dislocated his shoulder. I thought he was going to be done for the week, and we had to Jeff Chambers fill in with us. Get us through. We managed to get through the next game and so, and Jeff played great. And then Deuce was good to go for the rest of the weekend. But after we were sitting down, we were talking about who could we take as a fifth and a coach. And Jamie coached us all weekend. And my kind of first thought was, well, if Pat's available to be our fifth, I think it's got to be a no-brainer. The guy's won Canadian and World Championships at different positions. And
I hear he's pretty good.
One of the most selfless guys I've ever met. And turned out he wasn't available to take as a fifth, but I was like, I still think he can add a lot to our team as from a coaching perspective, and we're taking Jamie as our fifth, and I think that's going to be a really cool asset to have there. Just kind of, he's going to be able to help with matching rocks, and he's been through the procedure, so he'll be able to help because all the other guys, this is their first Brier, so I think his experience and wealth of knowledge will hopefully pay dividends to the team.
So what, Pat can't be there the whole week? Is that the issue?
No, he can be, but wasn't eligible because he was playing in Alberta originally.
Right.
So he rescinded his rights.
Oh, got it.
To Saskatchewan.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. Which is good because now I'm not going to have to give him my job midway through the week.
Yeah, I was going to say that might alter the team dynamic if you look back and you're skipping and there's Pat Simmons sitting behind you ready to jump in, right? Chemistry thing.
I don't think there'd be any pressure there with Pat. I think he's such a first-class guy. I don't think anybody would ever had the worry of him trying to steal your job from the bench.
Yeah. Well, tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself, Adam. That's fine. Hey, you also, of course, played for another guy who's a pretty decent skip for a number of years, Brad Gushue out of Newfoundland. You played for him until you were sort of the odd man out when Mark Nichols came back. What did you learn from Brad during those years?
I think the most I took away from Brad was just his approach to the game, and I think I've tried to bring that to my sort of the teams that I've been playing on since. Because I think coming out of junior, sure we practiced a lot, but we kind of practiced I'd say a little aimlessly. And then with Brad, when he shows up to practice, there's a focus, and he's there to get better on a certain task, and he's gonna try to get the most out of each of his teammates. And I think just sort of his approach to the game is what I took the most. Like I think that's speaks volumes to why he's been so successful. He put the time in and off, but he also goes out there with a purpose and tries to bring that same purpose to each of his guys.
Yeah, he's certainly focused, Brad, that's for sure, and has probably done a lot to sort of raise the professionalism of teams, I think. So, interesting, Briar, do you, Eddie McKenzie from PEI, he's back. Did he thank you after you went? Oh, and Robbie Doherty's playing with him. So, did he thank you when you left?
Eddie didn't send me a note of thanks, but no. Robbie and I live really close to each other, so we get together and exchange messages quite a bit. So it'll be really good to get to see him out there, and I hope they can get their way through the pre-qualifier. There's
a lot of veteran experience here. You got Glenn back, Glenn in his mid-50s now, winning there. You got Jean-Michel Menard back with Pierre Charette, who's I think approaching 80 now. He's listed as their fifth. Jamie Cooey.
Glenn's got Dave on his team too.
Yeah, he's got Dave Mathers with him now, right?
I'm going to be. I might be worse than Brad. It'll be the first time I've got more teammates on opposition teams than he does.
Yeah, you can go around and put together a whole other team, and see what position you'd end up with your former teammates, right? So, it'll be interesting though. And in St. John's, that'll be exciting. You excited to play there? I imagine.
Oh, I'm really excited. So I lived there for 4 years, and you get a nice day in St. John's, and it's easily the best city in the world. It's a ton of fun. The location's great, and I made a lot of good friends out there when I was playing soccer and darts and what have you, and really looking forward to getting to see a few of the guys and catching up with a few people.
All right, Adam, we finish with the run back. I give you a topic, and you give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words. Not always curling related, not always 1 to 3 words.
I always thought I'd be good at this, but I'm behind on my world events lately.
All right, well, I kept them pretty easy for you, actually. It's tough right now because everything I read is about Trump, even though I went deep in PEI. Yeah, it's maddening right now. As not a fan of Donald Trump, I'm pretty clear about that. So let's do some of that, though. How about Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer on SNL?
You know what? I've only saw a bit of it because a lot of the videos were blocked in Canada, and I missed it live.
Oh.
But, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Best is when she starts hitting people with a lectern. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
We didn't get to see the game because we were playing.
That's right. They lined you guys up against the Super Bowl. Hey, why are our numbers down this year?
Oh yeah, but no, I saw a bit of the highlights. I thought it was a crazy comeback. The only highlight I saw was when he threw the interception. And it's taken a long time because I'm a Rams fan, and when they beat us and the Patriots beat us in 2001, I kind of vowed to never like them, but I'm starting to warm to Brady. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I still don't like them. I was never cheer for the Patriots or Tom Brady, but I have to admit he's probably the greatest quarterback of all time, unfortunately.
One of the people you don't like, but you get a lot of respect for.
Yeah. How about Steph Curry's take on Donald Trump?
His what, sorry?
His take on Donald Trump. Maybe I got to fill you in on this one because you haven't been keeping up to date. It's a whirlwind around Trump. So the CEO of Under Armour, Kevin Plank, came out in an interview and was very pro-Trump. So Steph Curry said he might drop Under Armour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's good when people take their stance and they express their political opinion. Steph Curry's he's unreal, fun to watch.
Yeah.
I love watching him shoot.
So he said Plank called Trump an asset, and Curry said, yeah, he'd be I think he'd remove the E and the T from that, and you'd be better off.
Well, good for him to take a stance on his personal opinion over money. How many people do that?
You know what? I don't. We're way off the run back now, Adam. I'm cutting you lots of slack here, and I'm just extemporizing, I guess. But thing with this is people say, oh, why do celebrities? I don't want to hear their opinions on politics. Well, I don't know why not. I mean, you don't have to listen to them, but it's no different than if they tell me where their favorite cheeseburger's from. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. Yes. Why wouldn't they? I mean, the mailman tells me his opinions. Why shouldn't Steph Curry let me know? How about the Justin Trudeau Donald Trump meeting scheduled for Monday? Justin Trudeau Donald Trump meeting on Monday.
Clash of ideals. I think it'll be a friendly affair. Nice one. Yeah. I don't know. I could see Trump like forgetting about it, like forgetting he has the appointment or just, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know, whatever. Well, he's tweeting about his daughter during his Secret Service meeting, wasn't he? Yeah. Oh, yeah. About how she got hosed by Nordstrom. Well, she got pulled from Nordstrom because her stuff doesn't sell. It's not that hard. Yeah. And he was trying to say the raid in Yemen was a success. Unbelievable. Anyways, you're getting me all worked up here, Adam. I didn't mean to do this. I'm trying to compartmentalize my rage these days, and now it's drifted over into this podcast. You started off by talking about how Trump was all the news, and now we're not going to talk about it that much, and he's been... That's all I can talk about right now. Yeah. I'm just looking at all my stuff. I'm going to finish with stuff that has nothing to do with Trump. Here we go. The decline in Vancouver real estate. The price drop? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's got to be a good sign for young people trying to buy a house there. It's probably a bit of a tightening of regulation, and that's probably just the windfall of that. Yeah, I think it's a good thing for people out there. They had a situation, that's for sure. How about the use of brighter material that's being introduced on PEI highway construction signs? Much needed. Those dirt roads, you can't see the yellow signs in the dirt. Much needed. So it was a legit story. I found that on PEI News. That's your lead news item, by the way. You know, you live in a small province. I didn't know it was a thing. Yeah, they're introducing new brighter material, so you can't say you missed the sign anymore. And finally, Anne of Green Gables. I golf at the golf course right there, so I see the house, but that's about as close as I've come in a long time. Good for tourism. Yeah, it's quite an industry for you guys. All right, Adam. Sorry to have ranted on there about Trump like that. I really didn't mean to. But anyways, that's how my days go now. I give everybody a chance to name their sponsors. So let me know who's been backing your team and your considerable expenses this year. Yeah, I know. Personally, Torque Energy has been with me the past 3 years, and they've been phenomenal, sticking with me when nobody else would. Asham Curlin's been with me the past few years. Fountain Tire and Long Ball Golf. All right. That's good for them and good for you.
I like following your journey here, Adam. You're a good guy, and always enjoyed playing against you. So good luck at the Tim Hortons Brier, and we'll talk again.
All right, thanks a lot, Dean. Thanks for having me.
That's Adam Casey on the Curling Show. I enjoyed that conversation with Adam. Covered a lot of ground, even if at times our connection seemed to mean we were talking over each other. But good to see Adam back at the Brier. Good to see him get some confidence after the run he had the last year, where I saw him at the end of the Brier, and he wasn't the most confident curler, but wins a tough province with some guys from Saskatchewan. Nice little story. And with some shameless self-promotion, Fit to Curl, the ebook is on Amazon as a Kindle book. Go grab that. You can't get any more printed copies anymore. Brush Like a Badass. That's also available as an ebook. It's on Amazon. It's on Kobo. For Canadians who love that Kobo, and it's in the iTunes bookstore, iBooks, whatever Apple calls it these days. It's there too if you use that. Book a clinic, Brush Like a Badass clinic. I'll bring that to your club if you reach out to me. And yeah, I got a stand-up show. Another stand-up show. I got a number, but one coming up March 25th at the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City. If for some reason you happen to be in New York, or you're already in New York and you want to check that out, let me know and I'll hook you up. All right. As always, thanks for listening. Enjoy some black pudding.